In the last episode, we saw how Thérèse of Lisieux lived a hidden life behind the convent walls, where every small act became an offering of love. Today, we enter into the heart of her spiritual message, what she called the little way. Thérèse understood something profound. She looked at great saints who had performed extraordinary penances or heroic deeds, and she realized she could not imitate them in the same way. She was too weak, too small, too ordinary. Instead of being discouraged, she turned this weakness into a key. She said, "It is confidence and nothing but confidence that must lead us to love." Her little way is built on two foundations, humility and trust. She saw herself as a child before God, unable to climb the great mountain of holiness on her own. Instead, she chose to let God lift her up in his arms, like a loving father who carries his little one. For Thérèse, holiness was not about doing big things, but about letting God act in us through the small things. The first aspect of her little way is love in ordinary actions. She taught that every small gesture, if done with love, has infinite value in God's eyes. A smile offered to someone who annoys us, a word of kindness when we feel tired, patience in suffering, or simply doing our daily work well, all of these can become acts of holiness. Thérèse believed that nothing is too small to be transformed by love. The second aspect is trust. Thérèse knew that we often fail, that we struggle with weakness, sin, and discouragement. But instead of giving into despair, she taught us to throw ourselves into the arms of God with confidence. Just like a child who falls but trusts the parent to lift them up, she trusted that God's mercy was greater than her faults. For her, trust was not naive optimism. It was radical faith that God's love is stronger than our weakness. Another important part of a little way is spiritual childhood. Thérèse often spoke about being small before God, not in immaturity but in humility. She believed that the childlike heart is the one most open to receiving everything as a gift. Instead of trying to prove our worth to God, we let him love us and respond with gratitude. This teaching, simple yet profound, has inspired millions because it opens the path to holiness for everyone. You don't need to travel the world, perform miracles, or live a life of dramatic sacrifice. You just need to live with love and trust in the middle of your ordinary life. That is what makes the little way revolutionary. It takes the seemingly insignificant and reveals its eternal value. The Church recognized the depth of her teaching when Pope Pius XI called her the greatest saint of modern times, and later when John Paul II declared her a doctor of the Church. This means her little way is not just a personal devotion, but a true treasure for the whole Church. Think about your own life. How many moments pass by unnoticed each day? The commute to work, the chores at home, the interactions with people who test your patience. Thérèse is inviting you to discover holiness right there. It is not about escaping life, but sanctifying it. Before we end, here is something to reflect on. What is one small act of love you can do today that seems insignificant, but could become your path to holiness? That is the challenge of the little way. If you want to continue walking with Thérèse, make sure to subscribe, like this video, and share it with a friend who needs encouragement. And in the next episode, we will go deeper into the trials of her last years, when her faith was tested in ways that would reveal the true strength of her little way.